Spelling of criticism. Hello, everybody. Namaste. So, good evening. We are half an hour late, and that was because of me. I needed to eat my lunch. So, I'm being very honest. Nothing unusual happened. I had not eaten, and I was jumping between too many things. I thought to be kind to myself, and I gave a feedback to myself. Hello, you can sit down and eat. Nothing is going to fall apart. So, that's what I did, and that's why we are half an hour late. But that's fine. As long as I'm not late, Anumeta, it's all fine. Okay, jokes apart. Let me introduce you today to the topic that we are picking up. The topic today is feedback or criticism. I am really thankful to each and every one of you for being here, as well as to my panelists, Dr. Rashmi Arora, Joanne Ross, and we have Sumita Mandirata here. So I will ask Sumita to introduce herself before we begin with the topic. And yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, on Facebook and on the panel. I'm Sumita Mediratta. I'm a consultant clinical psychologist and counselor. I'm a remedial tutor. I deal with children and adults using different modalities, working on their mental health, using matrix reimprinting, EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. I'm a practitioner for both, as well as I'm a brain gym facilitator and also read-on therapist. So the topic is quite interesting because this is a day in and day out story. We keep discriminating between these two words, and we try to keep the meaning, find the meaning between them. So let's see how we go with the discussion ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's go on to Joe today. And Joe, if you can introduce yourself and just look at this topic and see what could be the beginning statements for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's lovely to be here and to see you all again. I have worked as a mum for the last 3 3/4 years. Before that, I was working as a mental health trainer, EFT trainer, and coach, working with people and also continually working on myself during that time. I think this is a really interesting topic, and this is also close to my heart, both in terms of being criticised for giving criticism and feedback and being careful about that, and also how I take it when I feel I'm being criticised or giving feedback. So on both sides, I feel this is really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Let's go to Dr. Rashmi Arora. Thank you. You're muted.
Hi, good evening, Anu. Good evening, Joanne, and good evening, Sumita, and all the viewers. I'm Dr. Rashmi Arora from Delhi. I'm a homeopathic practitioner. I'm a mental health trainer and an NLP practitioner. Regarding this topic is very close to my heart because feedback. Feed means eating, and back means giving it back. Whether we'll eat it again or not in the lighter vein. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I chose this topic today. I'm Dr. Anu Mehta, pioneer in the field of meta health, advanced clearing energetics, matrix reimprinting, and many other in India. I also teach various other healing modalities. And today this topic seemed really important for me. And I believe the last 24 hours really stood in front of me, telling me to look inside and understand what was going on in my space. Some of this feedback I was giving myself, some part of me I was criticizing myself. And my biggest challenge was that So I'm very lucky. Let me start like this. I'm very lucky that I have someone to help me at home. I got someone who's very raw from Ranchi to help me out. And a lot of stuff happened between yesterday to today where I realized that she's extremely raw. I need to really train her. Unfortunately, the feedback for myself was that I haven't had time to spend time with her. And I left her with the other person who helped me out and said, please train her. Because last 2 days I haven't had so much going on in my space. And my expectations and everybody's expectations never ends. But when people move from one state to another, from one place to another, it's not easy for anyone, not even for them. They are making an effort, and you are making an effort. I got up in the morning, I opened my freezer to see the vegetables, fresh vegetables that I had picked up yesterday, lying in my freezer, frozen. That was how I began my day. And I just laughed because it reminded me, like I've spoken before, of those days when I came for the first time to uh, uh, Czech Republic and I didn't know how to use a dishwasher. Now, how is it okay when I don't know? And how is it that I'm going to be hard on her? So I had to be very kind to her and say to her, you know what? It's okay. But this is not the place to keep it. And then the day unraveled, and many such things were there. And today, one of the person who really helped me out is not there. It was quite challenging because you have to run the class, you have to do everything. So I believe I came very close to criticizing her, very close to losing my cool, very close to saying, why can't you get the instructions right? Why can't you do it? And I had to really stop myself in my tracks and check myself and say, she's a human being. She's new. It's obvious she's raw. And here is a potential opportunity that you can mold her into whatever you want. And that's what stopped me from doing anything that would have been harsh and unwelcomed even by me. Now, why I gave you this long story is we may be sitting impatiently like this with our own child and wondering why they can't understand, or our husband, or someone else. And they may be putting things in the refrigerator or opening up 4 cartons of milk or something like that, which is very silly. And for you, you think, oh, it's what's the big deal? But it is a big deal for you at that time. And it's such a big deal that we blow our top. We blow our top, we give feedback. We don't give feedback, we give anger, criticism, and we throw the person out of care. So any such experiences, Rashmi, that you have up in your sleeve, that are personal, that you have experienced, or maybe you really did lose your cool, and that happens too because you felt that you weren't getting what you really wanted. Anything that really touched your heart in the same way?
I know there. Am I audible? Um, there have been many instances in my life, and everybody's life has it. Whenever I'm in a judgment mode, I feel that the person who's giving me even a feedback is probably a criticism. And whenever though a feedback can be used for an improvement purpose, a criticism is usually a judgment. So it is up to me when I take it as a judgment, I get into that Rani Jhansi mode. Okay, you're giving me criticism. I have to stop it. But if I'm taking it as a feedback, okay, I have scope for improvement. I can improve on that aspect. Regarding an experience, I'll come back later with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Joe, have you had an experience of a feedback or criticism, or you were getting angry with someone, or maybe with your son, or with some student, or someone over there who couldn't get it, or maybe you were speaking? Yeah.
Yes, so very similar in a way, Anu, but I did blow my top twice in the last 2 days, and I'm joining these groups. And as you say, we're all very calm here, but a couple of times when my son's got really upset and been screaming, instead of being comforting, it's triggered something within me, and I've shouted at him. And what I was shouting may not be a personal criticism. I'm careful not to say you are this and you are that, but I was just saying stand up, stand up, stand up, because his legs were wet and I needed to dry them, and he was so upset he wanted to sit down. So he probably took that as a criticism. And as you said, Anu, it was more than criticism, it was my anger coming up from that. So really all I could do was apologize and say I'm really sorry for getting angry with you. And yeah, still feel a bit bad about that today. I hope that things can be different.
Imagine. I'm so happy that you told me that, because I came so close and I said, next you will be apologizing and feeling bad. So just stop there. Just stop there, walk away from it, come back when you're fresh, and we'll begin again. So Sumita, any such incident that where you kind of almost lost your cool, maybe? You knew you were going into the track of criticism. You actually wanted to give feedback, but
So just 20 minutes back, the moment we ended one session, and I gave my daughter full opportunity because it's a Sunday. I said, watch the movie, enjoy lunch. So by 4, we can start for work. She was like, yes, yes. And the moment I got her in the room and I gave her the worksheets, this is your homework, darling, please do it. Tomorrow we have like 10 submissions. And she's like, okay, I'll see. She was absolutely not in a mood still. I still told her, okay, I'm still leaving it. You take time, you do it, okay? And she was like, okay, call Papa. I don't want to do it alone. I said, you know everything. There's nothing. You don't need support. This is just a practice work. You do it. That will come. Don't worry. You start the work. And then she was absolutely in her own world. And because inner reason I know, because she wants to do homework in school. And this has been 10 months not seeing the school. That is really frustrating for her. Day in and out, I can hear her scream out that, she's actually counting days. That February the session ends, and, maybe in April we are going to see the school. So I know that's it, but that's with every child, and, we can't do anything about it. So we have long chats, and, I comfort her in a way where she can. So just, I said, 4:30, I'm going on my session. Please finish your work. So I was again on the verge of, we were getting into that conflict. I had raised my voice. Luckily, my husband stepped in and said, go for the session. I'll handle. So I just walked out, and she was like, Mom, I'll do it. So, so I am being more impatient for making her, complete her assignments and tasks. And she's like super cool about it. So that is something I always want to tell her, that, you respect time. Please respect, you have a school which is not putting pressure on you, but please don't take undue advantage of that. At least do something. We have just had the weekend. The weekend is going to end. Please do something. And then again, we are going out for dinner. So just use this at least 1 hour. So sometimes it's really hard to convince her. So that's where I lose my patience.
it's so interesting. One part of me says this is required for disciplining. Anything that Joe said, I said, or Rashmi was talking about, it's to train the person,
Yes,
or bring about some kind of a routine, a ritual, which is done in a right way. And on the other hand, it feels as if we are these big monsters who are coming in the way of someone and their happiness. The other thing that I noticed is also that somewhere, when it's like when two people don't have the same kind of a desire,
definitely.
let's say even in lovemaking, if two people are on two different planets, they are not going to be able to satisfy each other. It feels as if the person who's going to come here to help me is on another planet and I'm on another planet. Maybe Kweku is on another planet at that point, you're on another planet. And maybe Sumita is talking from somewhere else and Samira is hearing it from somewhere else. And that seems like a challenge, how to fill that gap between these 2 points, and how to then navigate to reach the place of getting the task in the time frame that we want with efficiency. So, any ideas here, Dr. Rashmi Arora? What can be done?
Anu, I remember the incident from my childhood. I was in my seventh standard, and my teacher, my favorite teacher, she was my social sciences teacher. So I topped in that subject, and out of 50, I scored 49 and a half. So that was the maximum score a child could score in those days in social sciences. So what happened was, and the other children who had flunked, so there was I had topped, and it was written, please meet me after the class. And there were children, two or three children whose another and they who had flunked, and they had written, please meet me after the class. And the rest of the other students were, there was no writing on the sheet, the topper and this thing. So I walked up to my teacher and thinking, what is wrong, what have I done, why do I meet the teacher after the class, I have topped, isn't that good, but what is it, what's happening? So I walked up to the teacher with lot of apprehension that I'm going to get a lot of criticism. But my teacher was very sensible. And Poonam Nagpal was her name. And she was a very sensible teacher. She called me up. She said, you must be wondering why I've called you with the failures. And failure, no, they are not failure. They just flunked once. So she said, no, I have called you and you must be wondering. I said, yes, ma'am, I'm wondering what wrong I have done. So she said, I wanted to give you a feedback. Your handwriting is almost negligible to be read. So please improve your handwriting so that next time I can read your paper. I know you've done well. I had to strain my eyes to read it. So please do that. So that day I learned that, okay, I have topped in a subject, but there is a lacuna, there is something which is lacking in me. And ma'am had made it very clear that she wanted to give me a feedback about my handwriting. She could have given it to me in the class also, which I might have felt offended, or I might have there might have been a situation where maybe she might not have told, I might not have taken it nicely. So she called me. She first congratulated me and then gave me this in a personal view. So that was a feedback which I have taken it for so many years, and then I improved on my handwriting and made it legible for her to read and for other teachers to read also. Thank you.
So she filled the gap between the two dots by being compassionate, also very lovingly bringing attention to what was not and what should be.
And
That more Rashmi's handwriting,
she
and
shaped my life.
she shaped your life. Had she, instead of that, screamed at you in front of everyone, the being the topper would have not mattered, but being spoken into the class like this would have mattered to you, and probably would have impacted you all your life. So thank you for sharing
And
that. So,
there is another, sorry,
yes,
can I share? There is another episode in the school of, I was in ninth standard, and another teacher, I'll not mention her name now, but she was like, we had a fate and we had accumulated some money by selling things. So when I reached school the next morning, I came to know that the money had been stolen. We had given it to ma'am, and the teacher had kept it somewhere, and then that money had been stolen. So when I reached school, the first thing I got was, did you steal the money? Like, what? I went before you went. I gave you the money. I counted it and gave it to you. So there were two students along with me who were crying because they also got the same feedback from the teacher. So that was a criticism, which I still remember. And the other episode where I still remember that, okay, ma'am had called me for that your handwriting is not good. You need to improve on that. So this is the this is a thin line between a criticism and a feedback, and how the person says it and how the other person takes it.
could it be, Rashmi,
Mm.
that you were at that point looking at that as criticism, and maybe that was because of the tone of her voice, but actually what
It
she
was
was
good.
saying
She,
was this money had got stolen,
yes.
and she wanted to find out who had stolen it.
So
And
it was her job to find out.
she was probably scared that she will be blamed for it.
Exactly.
So,
Maybe she was scared or not. It was her job to ask everybody and
right,
ask whether do you have the money? Did you take it or not take it? It was her job. But
yeah,
at that moment, when I entered school and I took it as a criticism, well, what's happening?
yeah.
How can this not be possible?
Also seems to be between the two uh, incidents that you spoke, it felt
Mm.
as if no matter, even when you had topped the class, the prominent thoughts were, what have I done wrong? And why is she calling me?
Yes, the first thought.
Yeah, could it be that those prominent thoughts were yours and yours only? Because really, the teacher wasn't calling you to say that there was something wrong,
They
but
were my thoughts because I knew from her expression that she's meant to say something else.
yes. So, very beautifully, how Rashmi says, even before the feedback came, the criticism came a body language, came an expression that Rashmi had already resonated with and understood that that expression, that body language means that something is not the way it should be. And I really believe that this is the non-verbal that we don't look at. It's our body language, it's our facial expressions that can be so much on other people's faces that it changes. We change before we speak. Our speech is just merely a extension of how our body is at that point. So, Sumita, how do you bring a gap between the two things that we were talking about before? The gap between the person and what they are going to understand, and a gap between what you want to really tell the person. So,
Yes.
then it lands up in a different way than we want it to. How do you do that?
So definitely the body language is a very important part, the non-verbal communication. And what I have always felt is if I had told, so if I just recap what I did and, I had I done the same thing by just hugging her and kissing her and, saying, come on, darling, let's do it, like in a very playful manner and come on, let's do it. So basically she needs that I need to be with her. And because I was not, so she was missing me for 4 hours and I just acknowledged that, and I just started from there because I started it from like same. I was giving a feedback, darling, your homework is late. I just told few sentences, but what she was looking was, I really was not there with you, so let's do it. So I just started and then get back. So I know that was a difference where I lagged it today, and whatever the reason is. So that comes definitely, like she was saying, the whole body language, the way you communicate, your eyes, your expression, that really makes a lot of change. And a lot of times I tell the parents, even if you don't speak, like now probably post this, if I'm just going to, so the passive is done for us like this only, that she always looks forward for that hugs and kisses, and she just gets absolutely to a point where she doesn't want. So it's not about like a motivation for her, should not be like a reward or something, but it is just that connection which you can build up before you give that person a task. Definitely, like you said, the desire has to be together. I know there is no desire for her, but at the same time, how can I just make her even walk 2 steps? I know she will do it, she will do it wonderfully. And her motivation is the comments which come from the teachers, for in our case, and then she says, yes, I should have done it earlier. I did late submission, still they are complimenting me. So that's a real challenge, I mean, very happy moment for her. But then at the end of the day, she's on the weekends it's very difficult for her to make the task, getting it done. So we all have those weaknesses, and we just need to acknowledge it. So some days are like good days or bad days, but I definitely feel that that once, even like if I want something the way I want, so definitely you give the person the way the person wants, though there will be a difference, but even if you walk that point to, like a one step or a baby step. So definitely those movements become less, I would say. It's not zero, they can become less when we start getting that awareness in ourselves that, okay, here we can stop, here we can restart, and here we can redo. It's a kind of a redo, I would say, every time you do it in your head and then you do it like with your body language and gestures and talk.
Thank you so much. Let's go over to Joe. Joe, how do you build that gap between what we say and what really gets conveyed?
I feel that what I'm getting here, especially from what you just shared, Samita, is it's really about the state that we're coming from. That actually it's about not taking it personally. My child isn't doing what I want to, it's about me. It's about getting into that compassionate state. And what's also really interesting to me about all of the stories that all four of us have shared is they're all about authoritarian relationships. So it's the parent criticizing the child or the teacher criticizing the child. So maybe we need to come at this from a point of view of equals. We're all humans, that there shouldn't be this authority behind it. And maybe we're actually just copying the patterns of our parents and our teachers in becoming authoritarian towards our employees or our students or our children. And what would happen if we were all equals? Then would it be more feedback? This is me saying my opinion rather than criticism. I am the authority telling you what to do.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm really getting a lot from this. Thank you.
absolutely. And very beautifully, what you said, it's about the authority or who you think is an authority. And in our Indian culture, I don't know how much it's outside. Uh, the man. Before you're married, your mom and dad are your authority. You go to school, your teacher is your authority, and authority means someone you fear but also respect, or are forced to learn how to respect, even touch their feet, maybe for something that they're doing, and you want to really catch their feet and throw them down, but you're really touching their feet and saying thank you so much. And then probably a little later, it's your husband and your mother-in-law, and then it's probably your son later in the day who becomes your authority. And constantly, Indian women are kept in that place of being a kid who can be easily told, and it's only and only when she becomes a mother-in-law does she have a say in the matter. And probably she can get up and say, hey, you do this. And most of us are scared for that label, because that means, oh my God, I can have so much of authority on someone and I can misuse my authority. So, Joe, I really feel it's not just about authority, it's about misusing that authority, because it's not about the power, it's about misusing the power. It's also about feeling that someone is above us and below us. And that's a lot in my country, and that's why we have a lot of bone issues here, about not valuing ourselves equally. It's almost like what I heard, that my teacher needs to value me, or my husband needs to value me, my parent needs to value me, and I need to do XYZ to keep them happy. That seems to be the training that's more in the store. And that's why when I looked at that vegetable sitting in my refrigerator, I had such a good laugh, because it was so innocent. It was so innocent. I actually looked at the vegetables and my mouth was open, my jaw dropped, and I picked up those vegetables and asked her, why did you keep it up? And she said, well, there was no other place in the fridge to keep it. And there was nothing in the refrigerator, and the refrigerator takes 1/4 of the whole fridge. And I thought to myself, God, she was trying to be intelligent. She actually found a place there and she placed it there. She just didn't know. Now, I feel that maybe we are not looking at the innocence on the other side, and we are more caught up in what an authority should be doing, and we may be misusing our authority to bring about a trained behavior that we require in the other person. What are your views on this, Rashmi?
Definitely, Anu. Um, it's not about training. It could be you could train the other person also. Like you said, that you kept your cool and you understood that there is an opportunity over there. You can train that person according to your needs, and she is raw. She is so innocent that whatever you mold her, she'll mold in that way, suiting your needs. And obviously, such a person who is so innocent would be innocent in her own relationships or in her own life also, like that.
Yeah, because she made something for me to eat, and when I was eating it, it was tasteless. It was just, I mean, I was like, oh my God, who? So I called her and said, who cooks for you at your house? And she says, I cook. I said, how many kids do you have? She says, two kids. And I said, how come you didn't make food for me like you make for your kids? And she said, well, I made better food. And I looked at her and said, okay, well, I'm a farmer, she says. I make, I, I grow on my farm the potatoes and the corn and the and the and the wheat and everything. And we live very simple life. We eat what is available on that day in our farm. And if there is nothing available, we don't eat anything. And here I was thinking that she's not cooking for me. The reality is, she comes from an area where food is not available.
I know,
And that
and the
really
innocence also.
blew me apart that, we talk about patience, we talk about right and wrong, we talk so much about theory. But if you get to know people, they weren't meaning to wrong you. In fact, they may be very actively trying to impress me, or our children may be trying to impress us, but maybe they don't have the tools that we are expecting them to have. And maybe our expectations of them are coming from what we can do. Somewhere there's such a big gap between that. And on that, we want to throw our feedback or criticism with our body language, with every bit of us. And then we say, oh, why are you fearful? So there were a lot of insights that came by, and I said, the universe is really testing me today. Sorry, Rashmi was saying something.
I was saying it's innocence, Anu. We had a help way back. This is again from my childhood. My must have been very young, 5 6 years. We had a help. This was in Zambia when we were in Africa. It was in that time. So my mother had kept some rice on the deep freezer, and she slept off. So this person came who used to do the washing, etc. And when she woke up, she found that the rice and the vegetable which she had kept on a plate are not there. So she asked him, said, his name was Boniface. So, Boniface, do you know where are the rice? Ma'am, lost it. Boniface, what do you mean by lost it? So she said, so he said, ma'am, throw it. But Boniface, I kept the rice for you. Why did you throw it? You could have asked me, ma'am, eat it. So he had eaten the rice, already eaten the rice, and it was so innocent. We still talk about it. That this man, he was hungry. He ate it, but he didn't want to tell that he had probably stolen that rice. So my mom said, "But I had already kept it for you so that you could come and eat." Then
Yeah,
he confessed that okay, I have taken it.
thank you so much for that. Sumita, over to you.
Anu, definitely, like I was saying, if we know the deep down reason, once you know the reality of the other person, whosoever it is, somewhere you realize the reason, and then you understand that why their anger or why our anger on them or their anger on us. That makes a difference. But those moments are really critical, I would say. Till the
Yes,
time you realize it, and that is the whole crux of the story. It is about those few moments where either you can make it, or just take it kind of a thing, where if you are able to do it, I would say you should really pat your back and say, wow, I've done it today, because every day this challenge would come to you in some form or the other. And even if you are just being quiet somewhere, you are penting it up, and you don't need to be quiet about it. You need to talk about to the other person. You need to tell the other person. Sometimes it's a constant reminder every day you have to give. And like I keep giving my daughter constant reminders in different forms. So I think that she should not get bored. Ultimately, she knows I'm talking about the same thing, and she would tell me sometimes, I know what you're making this story for. This is for the assignment, yes? I said, yeah, you're a smart girl, you can understand, but I thought, let me give you a story form. So they also know, she also knows somewhere. So what is my expectation or something is, no teacher should tell her, oh, you've done it late, or no teacher should ever maybe, just criticize her in the classroom, because they get points in the classroom, and then she really gets sad because the points are not done. Though my husband keeps telling me, leave it, that's her life, that's her story. Why you want to get into her story, and let her fear, let her get that criticism. Maybe criticism for the teacher will benefit her, but I'm probably trying to save her from that episode of that. And then probably sometimes I do leave her and nothing happens, and sometimes when I leave her and the teacher really criticizes her, and then she can't take it, and then she comes to me and says, oh, you were right, you were telling me to do it, and today I got this from this teacher. So it's a mix. Like I said, that's a very small difference, but for your satisfaction, I would say, you are, I mean, as a person, you would do it as the way you feel, you are doing it right. Your inner conscious would always tell you, the moment your tone changes, the moment your body language gets, you can get alert from your inner self that now is the time you can stop. And I think you should listen to that and just stop there.
Yes. Joe, what are your views on the same thing?
So again, I'm learning so much from you. So what I've just got again from Samita, what you just shared, is really an answer to the issue that I said about drying my son, and that he was sitting down, he was sitting on his knees, crying and screaming, and he wouldn't stand up. And I thought I knew better. I thought I have to get him dry so he doesn't get cold. Stand up, stand up. Maybe he would have learnt more by releasing his emotions. Maybe he needed to get cold to realize, oh, there's something I can do about it. So I've really got to let go of thinking I know better, which is where the criticism comes from.
Wow. So when I see sometimes my partner doing this, he wants to tell me that I should be spending more time with him. And I seem to be spending more and more time in this room, in front of the Zoom, and in front of all of you, and seem to have less and less time to connect to what's probably going on at home. And the way he'll say to me, the other day he called me, and the last 4 days have been very, very, very busy. It's been 4 days that we haven't spoken. And I said, well, I'm speaking to you now. No, but I just wanted to tell you. In 4 days, we haven't spoken. But somewhere, I must confess at that point, the minute he does that, I don't find humor in it. I probably find more to 2 hours, two more people to talk to sitting on the Zoom. So I must confess I do that because I didn't hear it as a feedback. I heard it more like, and my thing, I'm saying, I'm at home, I haven't gone anywhere, I haven't even stepped out of the house. And when you are busy screaming in the middle of the living room, because he works from home too, I don't come and criticize you. I can't come and sit down there because all that you're speaking will be on the Zoom. So this is my way. I get more silent and he gets more verbal. And there are times that I wouldn't know how to deal with it. So if I take this situation, I have 3 people here. How should I deal with this? Dr. Rashmi Arora, how should I deal with this trauma that's going on in my life.
It's not only you, Anu, it's about all of us.
Oh my God. I thought I was going to get answers here. Okay.
Yes. So how do I deal with it? I mean, how should I deal with it? And this is an afterthought just now. I'll sit down for a second and think whether it's a feedback or a criticism.
Okay.
And the moment I understand it's a feedback, I can channelize myself towards that direction. But yes, if my brain understands that it is a criticism, then I will go back into the same loop I've been going on for years.
Absolutely. But I'm telling you, I know that cognitively I must take it as a feedback and do something about it. The reality is, I don't hear it as feedback. I actually hear it as, and I'm like asking myself, we ate food together, we did this together. Yes, we didn't speak, but we were there together. I thought the bodies were still talking, and I'm still in the same house. So I'm really appalled with my cognition here, because nothing that I'm thinking makes me look at it in just a form of a feedback, or someone just having a go at me and trying to make it light. Actually, what that's his way of making things very light, but that's not how I'm able to see it at that point. What would you do, Sumita? How would you, what's the kind of remedy that you would tell me to do? Thank you.
I would say there's no quick remedy. This is a process, and this is like a stepwise thing. From where the moment he says this line, you understand that. Oh, really? Is it 4 days? And then you also get into that humorous mode. I didn't think so. So I mean, you can just take it in a lighter manner in terms of just communicating, and somewhere his reason for saying would be because you are together, but probably the communication, because you are a big time communicator in your work life, in your professional life. So maybe he's also expecting this in the personal life, that strong communication where he is expecting that you are doing it, but he has still more expectations, and somewhere the gap is there. So I would say you also take in that humorous manner, and you just take maybe one step. Maybe you talk 5 sentences with him by the end of the day, and say, I have spoken 5 sentences. So that would be a goal for him. That okay, 5 sentences are done, communication is done. So maybe something like that, but in a very fun way, not really in a
Hello. Yes.
so
The next assignment to go to.
yes.
I have never compartmentalized my life, but I didn't know I was flowing in and out of the stories. I like that. Maybe I should try the humor bit. Maybe I need to stop taking it so seriously. Or maybe I'll never come out of it alive. If I probably can make fun of that and really take it in a humorous manner and say, hey, you actually noticed that we didn't talk for 4 days. And what can we do about it? And so the minute I even say that, the next statement of his typically is, forget it. You can't do it. It's
Yeah.
okay. People on Zoom must be crying, right? You need to go and attend to them. Please go.
So he's feeling J about it. That's my daughter's favorite word. You're feeling J about this. So yeah, so you use this terminology that you're feeling J, and probably let's go out for coffee, and now everything is open outside. So
Absolutely.
probably that can work out.
Absolutely. So, Joe, what's a suggestion you would give me? Because this seems to be happening in my life very often. And I understand that I need to connect. But somewhere, but it doesn't feel that I'm able to do things any differently.
Anyway, I can really see things from the other point of view, so I can't give you advice. I can only say that those of you that know the 64 keys, so I'm a coordinator or projector with a manifesting generator partner. So I imagine I would be more in your husband's shoes of like, you're so busy, give me attention. And I can only learn to take responsibility for my feelings. And actually, maybe I'm feeling hurt that I'm not getting the attention. And it's not a positive way to get the attention by saying, hey, I'm being hurt, and doing it as a joke. Actually, come and be positive, come and bring some interaction, you know, from his point of view. So come and bring something positive to the relationship, and then you might want to spend time with him. So I think he's also responsible. It's not only about your response, it's about his
what kind
response.
of, how do I give that attention? I really want to know. It's his birthday on this Wednesday, and I'm really thinking I could use that as an opportunity. How do you think would he feel loved?
Can I say something? No Zoom call on Wednesday. If that's possible for you.
Wednesday was the last day of commitment.
That's already fixed.
Zoom the whole day just for that 1 hour, but after that in front. So no Zoom call before that and after that. Done.
Yes.
Done. Okay. What next? I really would like that.
Communicate with him for 1 hour.
If he's open. If because you've been on the other side, so you know exactly what he needs. So what does he really need that I'm not able to understand?
I think to be asked, what is it you really need? Because I would love that to be, rather than complaining about what I'm not getting, what is it that you would really like?
Okay.
I don't know your husband, so I don't know how he would respond to being asked. It's your birthday. What can I do to make it special for you?
Okay.
I don't know how he's going to respond.
He may not can go out of my way and actually make it special. So I still haven't put my head around it, but maybe I can do that. Okay, that's a very good suggestion. So I have 2 good suggestions. So Rashmi, what's a third good suggestion? And guys on Facebook, you have any suggestions for me? I'm most welcome, This is how we learn.
Very, very tricky situations. These are the 2 suggestions which I thought of have been taken.
Oh my.
The chits have been already pulled up.
Richard
by Joanne Sumita.
Oh, if Richard Fluke was here, this is what he would have said to me. And he doesn't need any of this. He just needs you to take a plate full of food without your clothes on, and everything will fall in place. The only drama is that if he doesn't see, then I wouldn't know what to do. So anyway, let's leave it at that. This was all personal situation. I'm going to give you guys personal situations like this, and let's see what you come up with. So Joe, let's take another situation where let's talk about a mother and a daughter or a son. The son is wanting to get married. He has chosen someone for himself, and he is sitting there and he wants you because you're the mother. So just imagine Kwaku's all grown up. He has this girl and he really wants your blessings. And then you meet his girlfriend, and anything that you're talking is falling on his girlfriend like criticism. You're not intending to. You're very soft, very graceful. You're talking to her from your space, but the girl doesn't feel that you have accepted her. She just doesn't feel like a part of you. And your son comes back and says, Mom, all I asked you to do was accept her. And I wasn't expecting this out of you. How will you take it? What will you do in such a situation? Thank you.
I think historically, this kind of interaction has probably happened because perhaps I was brought up with criticism, so my way of interacting was really to find the criticism, and as well as what I shared the other day about from Crazy about acknowledging before giving feedback, also saying that it's feedback and it's not criticism. So being really clear, I'm going to share some feedback here, actually really helps, and it certainly helps me. Right, I'm bracing myself. I'm going to hear something I don't like. Is it true? Is it not true? And with this particular girl, I would just be really curious and interested where her worldviews come from. So I would be just asking lots of questions and finding out about her relationship with her mother, with her grandmother, what's happened to create her into this person she is. So I think I would fall into coach mode, actually.
Thank you so much for that. What would you
Thank
do
you.
in the same state, in the same situation? Let's say
So
with
I
some,
would,
and
yeah,
the is that it's not a girl. You're talking to a man who she is interested in, and she really wants your blessing. She doesn't want you to reject him, but
yeah.
she feels at the end of the day that you've rejected him, even though you haven't, and you're very clear that you haven't, and yet she feels that you have.
I'm going to talk to her on a specific reason, because if she's feeling, definitely somewhere she's got the message from my non-verbal communication, I would say, because eyes and body language can do a lot more. And because somewhere I have been in a situation what she's going to face, because I had a love marriage, and when my husband was, uh, he came in front of the family. So I was really in this thing. Are they going to approve? Are they going to reject? Are they going to approve? So it was like, that constant fight was there in front of me. So I would say I would definitely be more careful, because I know what the person goes through, and I can really empathize with her on that. And if that's the way she is feeling, I would definitely talk to her and ask her. If somewhere she has felt that, I would definitely, express her that that was not my intention. And I believe that once I talk to her and convey her what exactly is the reason, things would be sorted out.
Wonderful. What would you do, Rashmi?
I know in that situation, if I think of my son, nothing would work at that moment because he's already into that frame of mind that I have probably rejected his choice. So in that situation, if I go and talk to him, even if whatever situation I go and talk to him might create a more problem. So rather than doing that, I would love to keep quiet for few moments, let things settle down, and then talk about it.
Okay.
In the meantime, he will have his learning, I will have my learning, and then go and talk about it.
Perfect. Let's take another situation. So this is for Sumita right now. Let's start with her. Sumita, you're wanting to move into a specific house, and you've been wanting to move, let's say, across into another country, maybe into another house, a house of your dreams, of how you want your life to be. And somewhere all your in-laws and everybody is sitting down and criticizing and saying, they're giving you feedback, they don't want anything bad for you, they don't want your pain to increase. They're saying to you, oh, you're so used to being this pampered background, you have servants, you can't stay without them for even a day. And here, like now, you might be going into another house, maybe another country, where all these privileges may not be present. Here we are there to take care of you sometimes, even though you may not feel that they're taking care of you. So, and you feel criticized. You feel as if they're stopping you from living your dreams. How will you deal with it?
I'm dealing with it right now, so that I don't need to really think about it. So that is how I take it. That I feel that what I have challenged myself, it's my challenge. It's nobody's story. If I can't do it, I'll come back. Don't worry about it. But let me try it. I'm that kind of a person. I will do it once. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. That's my life. I don't really take it. I mean, I'm getting this constant statement all the statements what you said, I'm hearing from past 3 4 months, day in and out, and I'm actually not taking it to heart anywhere, because I'm moving forward with what I have planned for myself, because somewhere I know uh, I had planned this and I want to go ahead with this. So I'm that kind of a determined person. When I think about it, I'll do it. That kind of a thing.
Wow, that's the trust in yourself. If I think about it, I can do it. Then nothing that you say is going to land on me like criticism, feedback, or anything. I'm determined to go my way. Brilliant. Joe, what would you do in a situation that about like Sumita, moving into another country, city, people are telling you, you won't be able to manage, small child, how will you do it? Things are going to fall apart. You don't even know the language of the place, you don't know the culture, you've never stayed away, you've never done this. How will you take this as criticism, feedback, or what will you do?
I think take it as feedback, a bit like with your husband. It's actually feedback about how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Because in my personal move, I've noticed a difference between people that are really positive about it and empowering and giving me tips of this might be difficult, but this is how to cope. And people that are full of fears and they're voicing their fears, and really that's coming from them. And that's been really interesting for me to really perceive the difference. And yeah, actually going and, like you just said, Samita, going and following your dreams and doing what's right for you, maybe that helps the people that are full of fear, because they say, oh, okay, so she can do it, she can cope. Actually, maybe I can do more than I think I can do. So yeah, just be bold.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What would you do?
Anu, this kind of situations I have dealt with, been to places where thrice I've been to places where nobody knew me. And I'm a kind of a person who makes friends very easily. So this situation is like not a challenge for me at all. I can't answer you what I will do. I can tell you what I have done. Been to Australia, been to Africa, been to Saudi Arabia, where I knew nobody. But for me, these kind of situations don't affect me, because at that moment I'm my own friend. So,
Brilliant.
and when I go, and one of my biggest strengths is to make friends easily. I can make friends on flights, I can make friends on a train. So I think I would never think about it. Okay, I have to go there and what to do. Whether the child, when I moved to Australia, my child was 1 year, and he was very challenging. He would, like, when I moved over there, he would do certain things like I used to go and communicate with my people back at home at an internet cafe. One day I took coke for him so that he could drink over there. So he came, and while the time I was working, I thought he's taking some coke and he will be better so that I can have 5 minutes with my folks. He came and put the whole can on the poured the whole can on the keyboard. So first something like this happened. Then another time at another cafe, something else happened. Then at a store, he was very young, 1 year, and he took a chocolate and moved out of the store. When I moved, I said, "What? How did you get it? And how did you come out of those bars?" I realized his height was so small, he crossed the bar with the chocolate. So I went back and paid. I had so many challenges with him every day, and plus health challenges also. So they are a fun part of me. And that day at every internet cafe I had been, so they said the lady with the child and the stroller is not allowed. So they had recognized me by that time. So, so I've already been through these challenges, but this is fun time. Children grow up, and they grow up so beautifully. What I used to do, okay, you're not going to let me, no, no problem. I will go to some other place. I will search from some other place. I've been all over the town in Sydney and searching places. So for me, I can't suggest what to do. I can just say do what you can at that moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's already 5:30, and we will conclude the program in another 2 minutes. I just want to really, really thank everyone here for the persistence and consistency with which we've been really working. I think today is day 12, if you have not mistaken, right? Is it day 12? Yes. 3 days more to go to complete this challenge that we had taken up. I'm really grateful to the universe and grateful to all my speakers here, Joe, Sumita, Rashmi, and others who've come and gone from here and will come back again. Uh, my biggest challenge always has been how to accept the feedback and how to give the feedback so that it can be taken appropriately. And like I brought my life here, the whole idea of bringing my life here was that I understand better. I don't have tools for many things. I'm i'm also in the process of learning from all of you. So none of us over here are sitting as experts. We're sitting here also in conversation and trying to ask you, what do you do? So if you on the Facebook have any ideas or you can share with us, that will be really, really lovely, because you never know what you have up your sleeve that we don't. And you never know what idea you might give us that might help us to move ahead in our life and empower ourselves in a much better way. So the last bit, let I will conclude with this and ask each one of you to give your last statements is, I think more than getting feedback from everybody else, we give a feedback to ourselves every day. So today, I'm going to try giving a feedback for the 3 people that I live with: my husband, my son, and my mom. I'm going to say 5 things about them, and I'll try being sweet to them.
And you're going to give us a tough time now. Get
Yeah,
ready.
get ready. So, first, I challenge myself, and let's start with the easiest of all the lot. That's my mom. Sensitive, graceful, loving. And I stopped right there. Can you see that? Because I was going to say but and something else. I have to stop myself. I'll start all over again. Graceful, sensitive, loving, open hearted, and very warm. Yay, I did it! The first one. The second one. The toughest will be the last. That's Arjun. Very intuitive, very loving, very warm, unconventional, extremely sensitive. Okay, let's try the third one. Okay, I better hold my heart before I say for the third one. Birthday boy. Okay. He's got a sense of humor that I learned from him. I never had a sense of humor. If there is any humor bone in my body, it comes from Vikram. A thorough gentleman. I don't see too many of such people anymore who will open the door for you and stuff like that. Very, very correct in his manners. Loves being generous, an excellent father, a better friend than a husband. That sounded like criticism. Okay, I have to go back. That's tough. Okay, let's start again. He is generous. He is full of manners, very courteous, thorough gentleman. Someone who's made me see life very differently and made me have a sense of humor. I really thank these people for them in my life. I did not choose other members of my family because I don't live with them anymore. They are physically far off, emotionally very close to me, but I deal with these 3 every day. So let's hope you can do what I just did, and I'm sure we all can. Okay, let's go to Joe.
Hello. Anu, you forgot the other person that you live with. Please do it for yourself.
I will come back to me at the end.
Okay, good. Because that's, you just said we give feedback to ourselves and then no feedback from me. But
I will come back. I was
yeah,
hoping last.
okay. So could I give a feedback for you, Anu? Or do you want me to do it for the people that I live with?
Whatever.
Okay. Because I feel so grateful for what you've done and what you've been doing. It's almost a year now. So I would like to say that really you're inspiring, empowering, a role model, so warm-hearted, so generous, and so good at bringing out the truth from people and what's really important to people. I feel that you're doing amazingly at that. So I wanted to give that feedback.
Thank you. I tear up very easily. Thank you so much. Really, coming from you, it means a lot. Thank you. We can do the Kweku and Kwesi, but not.
That's okay. Do you want me to do that too?
That would be nice.
Okay.
I think they are around. They would really.
Can you see them? So for Kweku, so loving, teaching, because I'm just learning so much from him, full of joy, full of enthusiasm, curiosity, and so open-hearted. Even when I criticized him yesterday, a few minutes later he was laughing, and that's just such a joy to be around. Kwesi, you all also know, so inspiring, intelligent, empowering, positive, and really takes a lot of responsibility and does that so gracefully.
Wow.
Thank you.
I feel the love there. They both should know how lucky they are. Okay, let's go over to Rashmi.
For whom?
Hmm?
For whom? I have so many people in my life.
Start with Dipesh. Sounds like a good plan.
Dipesh, first
For
thing is very
Dipesh.
crazy.
Okay.
He's crazy, he's loving, he's intelligent.
Don't
And
you have a Kwesi too? It's
no, no. He is crazy. And I can't think beyond this because his craziness is very different. he like your husband was saying, we have not met for 4 days. So I tell my husband, see, we have not talked for so many days. So what he'll do is, he has other ways. I will get a gift. I got a pen today, and it was a surprise. So it's a post-birthday gift today. So, but if I tell him to talk, he is crazy. He will not talk for days.
wow.
So that's why I said crazy.
Zamir, you'll have to go back and start again.
So he's crazy, he's loving, he's caring, he's intelligent, he's brilliant. Oh, I did it. 5 adjectives, done. I can do this for me. I can do the non-verbal communication for me.
Sumita, will you do it for yourself, please?
Okay, so for myself, I'm determined, I'm caring, I'm helpful, I am courteous, and I'm graceful.
Thank you.
I think.
You can see how difficult this is. You know, we are judging ourselves and criticizing and giving ourselves a feedback. A positive feedback is more difficult, and it's so easy to criticize. And that's all I wanted to bring up here. So easy to say that I don't know this. I know I've called myself things that I should have never done that. And yet, the positive feedback can bring tears to the eyes because we're so hard on ourselves. So, with this note today, I thank each and every one of you for supporting me, for being there, and for making me understand, and for making all of you being the part of this, that there is a way out. Probably all we have to do is every day begin our day with these just 5 new adjectives for the person every day. The sadness is we spend 50 years of our life without ever giving ourselves a positive feedback. We are so busy trying to be perfect. We are so busy trying to get our handwriting right. We are so busy trying to get my spellings right. We are so busy trying to be a perfect mom. We are so busy trying to be that one person that the other one wants us to be, that we forget to be who we really are. And with that note, let's meet tomorrow. And I got the topic for tomorrow. The topic for tomorrow is, who are we really? It's another introspecting topic. Who do we think we really are? Yeah. So I didn't want to change anything from there, though it's a long sentence. I can put it as self-image, this, that, but then meaning changes. I really want to know who I am. And I'm sure each one of you there really want to know who you are. So thank you very much. I'm really, really grateful to the universe, to each and every one of you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Sumita. Thank you, Rashmi. And I also thank the people who are standing behind all of you so that you can be here and speak to us. Thank you again.
Thank you,
Thank
Anu.
you.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you, Joe. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.